Hello, America. Welcome to Sperm Wars, Episode 2. A new low, a new depravity, a new fetish. Many new fetishes of Jack Murphy are being exposed. I don't know, maybe he's into that. But I get the feeling that he isn't. He seems quite upset after, his blow-up at Sydney Watson. His life has just begun to unravel. I never engage in any drama. This is, I think, my first time, probably. Well, who knows? But this train wreck is so amazing, I can't look away. I don't care if it's cheap. We're between Christmas and New Year's. I didn't even make a video yesterday, because, I'm still kind of holiday-ish. Although I'm not really getting any time off from work. But, hell, this is a fun time of year. We don't have to take it too seriously. Thankfully, there's not a bunch of, really pressing news stories going on in the world. And so I can afford to take some time and talk about this nonsense. For those of you unaware, Sydney Watson absolutely demolished the public persona known as Jack Murphy, more commonly known by his mother as John Goldman. Short synopsises. Sydney asked him, read him a super chat. The super chat was asking about a cuck article that Jack apparently wrote, and he blew up. He got very upset, did not want to talk about it, and he stormed off the set and said, "Fuck you" to Sydney like 7 times, and then said it one more time when he ran out, like a little baby. And so last time I talked about this situation, I went through the article and I said, this is pretty screwed up, what he was writing. There's some pretty dirty, nasty stuff, pretty perverted. And if he wants to maintain this public persona of being a super alpha, trad Chad, who's gonna, be good family men and, a good role model for other men to look up to, so much so that they would pay him $100 a month, he's gonna have to do some reflecting and talk about how he's changed since 2015. And how he's not that guy anymore, and how the person who wrote that article is not in his heart, how he doesn't believe those things, because there's no way that, what he wrote is consistent with his brand. Well, it got much worse for old Jack Murphy, because this compromising material doesn't just go back 6 years to 2015. It goes back at least to 2019, which is after Jack Murphy became a MAGA influencer. That was after I had first heard his name. He wrote this, coffee table book, the kinds that nobody ever reads, called Democrat to Deplorable, and he did a media tour off of that, and that's where I first heard about him. He was, some big, I believe he was a D.C. School principal, like of a charter school, and he was a Democrat, and he said, "No, Trump's the way," and he grew out his operator beard, and he's like, "Yeah, I like Trump now." And that was his shtick. And then he evolved into this whole, I'm a super alpha giga chad, and you should pay me $100 a month so you can learn how to be an amazing, perfect man, or at least really good man, like I am. But at least after that, we know after he had already become, a minor MAGA influencer, he was streaming with his, now fiance or wife, I think they're now married, on Chatterbait, which is a live streaming porn site. So this isn't just, I was in a dark place in 2015 and I let my wife cuck me, or my girlfriend back then, who I'm now married to, and I regret that, and it was, sick and depraved. No, in 2019, he was engaging in relations with his now wife on the internet, live, for tips. And it gets, worse than that for Super Alpha Giga Chad. So not only did he, let all of the internet look at his wife in her most vulnerable state after he became a MAGA influencer, he also engaged in, how should I put this, simulated homosexual relations. Again, for tips. Now, I know for a fact that he did this by himself. I'm not sure if he also did it in conjunction with his wife. I personally do not want to watch any of this, so I'm relying on what people who have seen this very compromising content are reporting back. I got in trouble. I got a warning from YouTube for even posting Jack's sick cuck article in the description. So I'm not going to link. I'm certainly not going to link to any of this crap. That's for sure. I know for sure I can't link to a pornography. I thought linking to his weird sexual philosophy would be okay for educational purposes, so that you knew that I wasn't making up the article. But YouTube, I guess, is trying to help Jack maintain his credibility, so they didn't do that. But I'm not going to try linking to any of this stuff. I do not want it on my computer, anywhere near it. I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot digital pole. But I did see a clip that thankfully was cropped, did not show any nudity, but it showed, Jack's face and his lips moving, and him saying the words, oh yes, I've definitely effed guys. So at this point, I think that we should drop his title, Jack Murphy, Professional Masculinity Guru. I think that he should now henceforth be known as gay porn star Jack Murphy. Because he at least confirmed that he is heteroflexible, is the term he used. And he is a confirmed porn star. Now, there's a lot of people like Jack Murphy on the internet. There are men who do these things. The website Chatterbait is not devoid of men. There are couples on that website. But the difference between Jack Murphy and those people is those people, I'm pretty sure, 99.9% of them are not trying to sell some kind of masculinity service where they prop themselves up as male role models, as ideal people, as life coaches. I think most Chatterbait streamers recognize that they are, icky degenerates, and, they congregate amongst their own kind. They don't try and come into the world of decent people and pass themselves off as something that they're not. They stay in their lane. But Jack Murphy wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to be a gay porn star, and he also wants to be a Giga Chad family man masculinity guru. And I have to say, you got to pick one. And I don't think that anybody's irredeemable. I think that I believe in forgiveness. And if Jack Murphy did these things in the past and he decided, no, I'm a changed man for some reason, he had some reason why he changed and he's different now, I think that at some point, maybe he could build enough credibility to, be a masculinity guru, although I don't think that such things should exist. I think the very concept is silly, and I'm always going to look at somebody sideways who kind of tries to pass himself off that way. But if you are going to try and pass yourself off that way, and you have this kind of past or present, because he was passing himself off this way while engaging in these acts, obviously at one point in time, Jack Murphy was a fraud. The question is he currently a fraud? Certainly seems like he's currently a fraud. He doesn't seem like he wants to, denounce his past. He doesn't really want to acknowledge it. He's just calling it revenge porn. I hate to break it to you, Jack. It's not revenge porn when you put something out on the internet and somebody else just points out that it exists. It's not like the quartering had hours and hours and hours of Jack Murphy Chatterbait streams saved on his hard drive for a rainy day. He wasn't, holding this back just waiting for an opportunity to use it. This is not, the ex-boyfriend posting his ex-girlfriend's nude images on Twitter. The quartering simply pointed out, hey, did you guys know that masculinity guru Jack Murphy was a Chatterbait streamer? I didn't know that. He just pointed it out. Is that a lie? Is it defamation? Doesn't seem to be. Jack Murphy didn't deny it. He didn't say that's not me. He said this is revenge porn, which means, hey, yeah, it's me. It's just I didn't want people looking at it. Well, if you didn't want people looking at it, you shouldn't have done it. I mean, you shouldn't have put your face on the internet on top of your naked body next to your naked wife. I can't feel dumb when you basically try to... Well, no, not try. He did. He successfully exposed himself on the internet. Nobody did that except Jack Murphy. He chose to do that himself. And so I have no sympathy. This is not, this is not revenge porn. Okay? If a porn star retires from the game, to borrow a phrase from Jack Murphy, and then years later somebody points out, hey, did you know that this person used to be a porn star? And links to some pornographic film that they performed in on the internet? That's not revenge porn. That's a statement of fact. So the big update today is that old Jack Murphy has declared war on his critics. Presumably, he is this declaration of war is addressed specifically to, I think, first and foremost, the quartering. Second, maybe Nick Rekieta, and third, or maybe second, Mr. Medicure, Jim. Because those three are really the ones who have done the most damage, I think. Been the most effective, certainly more effective than me, because I don't have much of a platform. But those are the guys with the three biggest platforms who have really pointed out, hey, look at all this sick stuff that Jack Murphy's into. It doesn't seem like he's the guy he says he is. He certainly doesn't come across as the guy that, I thought he is just based on his appearances on Tim Pool's show. Because that's my only experience with him. I watched Tim Pool's show. Jack Murphy's been on. He seemed like a decent guest. Says decent things. Seems like a normal person. Didn't seem like a sick perv. And again, I'm not attacking this guy just because this is what he's into. There's lots of people, who have the same deviant interests as Jack Murphy on the internet. But they don't claim to be the person that Jack Murphy has claimed to be. They don't claim to be this ideal role model. They don't say, hey, I live such a great life, and you should look up to me. I've never said that to anyone. I wouldn't. I know I'm an imperfect person. I'm not, I don't think that I'm better than, 90% of men, so much so that I would charge $100 a month so that my masculinity might rub off on some of them. But when you do that, when you're selling that kind of a product, you've got to be held accountable, bucko. And so he's now begging those within his inner circle, those who still are in his wicker group, who pay the $100 a month, for help. He's trying to start a war room. He's going to war with the quartering, Rekieta, and Medicure. And it almost sounds like he's going to war with Elijah and Sydney, too. I mean, the way that he tried to call the manager on them, the way that he crafted a tweet and he said, hey, the quartering, he is associated with Elijah and Sydney. What do you think about that, Glenn Beck? Hey, Glenn Beck, you should reprimand your employees because somebody who they know wrote mean tweets about me, a sexual degenerate. Jack Murphy thinks that in this silly little, slap fight, in this e-drama, which I assure you, Glenn Beck has no idea is even going on and doesn't care about. If this was brought to his attention, Jack Murphy thinks that Mormon Glenn Beck would sympathize with the gay porn star who is sad that people now are watching his gay porn videos. Well, I shouldn't say that. His porn videos are not necessarily gay. They're not that gay. It's not been confirmed that he's on camera with another man. Let's say they're gay-ish. So Jack Murphy thinks that Glenn Beck will be upset that somebody who his employees know somehow is tweeting about Jack Murphy's sexual deviancy. This is a man who has gone over the deep end. He's spiraling rapidly. He's locked down his Twitter account. I'm sure he's purging his old tweets as we speak because, some tweets from his old professional pickup artist days people are digging up because it wasn't too long ago that he was publicly, that was his persona. Now he's supposed to be more of a good down-home family man who cares about his kids. I mean, it's just the floodgates opened up yesterday after Jeremy put out that tweet revealing that, yeah, the Jack Murphy porn tapes exist. The information has just been flowing and flowing, because I would never touch any of that crap, but I guess there's some people on the internet who are bored enough to watch through that and search for things that he says that are particularly embarrassing. And again, one more time, I want to keep saying this. I don't think that this guy should just be torn apart for the sake of tearing him apart. If this guy was just a janitor at a Walmart, I think it would be disgusting what people are doing to him, trying to, elevate all of this stuff. But he's not a janitor at Walmart. This is a public figure. This is somebody who wants to present himself as a good person, as somebody who others can look up to, as somebody who sells, a product, which really is, he is the product. That's what you're selling. You're selling, hey, Jack Murphy's a great guy. I want to be like him. Ergo, let me pay him $100 a month. And so if it turns out that that person who you're paying $100 a month was a dirtbag, you deserve to know that. Because that's your money. And you don't want to be throwing good money after bad. Now, frankly, I don't think you should be paying any men $100 a month, no matter whether they're great family men or not. And so maybe this will serve as a lesson for some people. Didn't have to be this way. Jack Murphy's handled this in the worst possible way possible. There is no way in which he could have handled this to make himself look worse. He could have tried to apologize. He should have owned up to it, like a man, like an alpha apex predator. Alpha males take responsibility for their own actions. They don't whine and bitch about women who read super chats. They don't bitch and cry to the manager about friends of employees who tweet mean things about them. And so regardless of Jack Murphy's actions, based solely upon his actions in the past, regardless of his actions in the past, and the gay porn, and the cuck articles, and the how to choose a side piece articles, and all of the very sick, nasty stuff. His actions the last week or two, the last 10 days or so, is to tell you all you need to know about Jack Murphy, and the fact that he is no alpha male. He's weak. He's sad. And that's not a nice thing. I don't like to see sad and weak men. But no man who is sad and weak, like Jack Murphy, is in any position to be telling other men how to live their lives. Jack, get your own house in order. Don't worry about what Nick and Jeremy and Jim are up to. They're fine. They're not claiming to be who you are. I don't know, I guess maybe Quartering claims to be a better person than you are. I don't think Nick Rekieta claims to be a better person than anybody. Jim, I'm convinced, is a floating sphere of ectoplasm. So don't worry about them, okay? There's enough bad things that have come out about you, and the more you fight it, the more bad things people bring forward about you. Because you put these things out there. People couldn't dig this stuff up if you weren't putting it out there. So just take a step back, take a break, come clean with your subscribers, people who pay you money, and say, you know what, I lied to you guys, and I did something wrong. And I understand if you hate me, but I'm going to do better from now on. But he refuses. Because he's not the man, he's nowhere near the man that he claims to be. So, with that said, I will see you folks hopefully back here tomorrow. Hopefully I got time again. Holidays, things are always up in the air. Didn't have time yesterday, but doing my best. We'll be back to full time after the new year. So I'll see you folks then.